Have you ever felt that there's something more waiting for you, something that goes beyond your daily routine, beyond what you see and experience in this world, as if deep down you know there is a greater purpose for you, even if you can't fully understand it yet? If you've ever felt that restlessness, that sense that your life is not an accident and that there is a plan laid out for you, then this message hasn't reached you by chance. You may have been called, but perhaps you haven't recognized it yet. Throughout history, those who have been chosen by God have experienced very clear signs. And the most surprising thing is that often these signs go unnoticed. They can appear at the most unexpected times, disguised as everyday experiences or even difficult challenges. But there is a pattern, a set of signs that reveal when someone has been touched by the divine, when their life has been set apart for something greater. Today, we're going to uncover 9 clear signs that God has called you. And I warn you, as we go on, you may begin to realize that many of these signs have already been present in your life without you even noticing. Listen carefully, because the final sign is the most powerful of all. It is the ultimate message that God uses to confirm that you have been chosen. And when you understand it, your life could change forever. So stay until the end, because this knowledge can not only open your eyes, but could also give you the answers you've been searching for a long time. Before continuing, I want to ask you something. If this message resonates with you and you believe more people need to hear it, help me share it. Subscribe, like, and share your experience in the comments. Your support transforms lives. Now take a deep breath, because you're about to discover if you are one of the chosen. First sign, an unexplainable emptiness in your life. On the outside, everything may seem fine. You have a life that many would consider normal. Maybe you've achieved goals, have a family, friends, stability, and yet inside you feel like something is missing. There is a void that nothing and no one can fill, a constant feeling that there is something beyond what you've experienced so far. You try to soothe that feeling with distractions, achievements, relationships, but the emptiness persists. It's as if something inside you is calling out, as if there is a deeper truth you haven't yet discovered. And that feeling is not a coincidence. Throughout history, many people who were chosen by God experienced the same restlessness. Moses, before finding his purpose, lived years of uncertainty in the desert. Paul, before his transformation, felt a deep internal conflict. This emptiness is not a punishment. It's not a curse. It's a calling. It's how God shows you that you have been set apart for something greater, something that transcends what the material world can offer you. It is a sign that your soul longs for something deeper, His presence, His purpose, His truth. Maybe you felt it during your quietest moments when no one and nothing is around you. That sense that even though you have everything, you still haven't found what truly matters. That emptiness is a sign that your spirit is awakening. And here's what's most important. That emptiness won't disappear with more money, more success, or more relationships. It will only be filled when you respond to God's call, when you seek your life's purpose, when you surrender to His guidance. If this feeling has been inside you for years, pay attention. It's not a coincidence. It's the first sign that God is calling you. Now let's move on to the second sign. And here's where everything starts to make sense. Second sign, intense trials and constant challenges. When God chooses someone for a special mission, that person will not have an easy path. It will not be a life free of difficulties or trials, quite the opposite. If you faced extremely difficult moments, losses, betrayals, obstacles that seem impossible to overcome, it's possible that you are being prepared for something greater. Because those who are called by God not only receive a purpose, they must also be strengthened to fulfill it. Think of the great prophets and spiritual leaders in history. Joseph was betrayed and sold by his own brothers. Moses faced rejection from his people. Job lost everything before being restored. Do you see the pattern? Every trial was part of their preparation. Maybe you've gone through situations that made you question everything. You've asked yourself, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to suffer so much? Has God forgotten me? But the truth is that in every trial, God is refining your character, strengthening your faith, and preparing you for what's coming. Nothing you've gone through has been in vain. Sometimes the trials are so intense that it seems everything is working against you. People betray you for no reason. Plans fall apart just when they seemed about to succeed. Illness, loss. But behind each trial, there is a divine purpose. God does not allow these difficulties to destroy you, but to shape you, so that when the time comes to fulfill your mission, you are strong enough to carry it. Because those who are called are first tested. And here comes the crucial question. How have you responded to your trials? If in the midst of them you felt a force pushing you forward, if despite the pain a voice inside you says not to give up, then it is possible that God is preparing you for something greater than you imagine. This is the second sign, but what comes next is even more revealing. Stay with me, because in the next sign, we will talk about a spiritual awakening that many people experience without even realizing it. Third sign, attraction to the spiritual. There comes a point in your life when material things no longer fulfill you. What once entertained you or seemed enough now leaves you feeling empty. And in the midst of this restlessness, without knowing exactly why, you start to seek answers. You begin to feel an inexplicable pull toward the spiritual. Maybe you've developed a desire to pray more, to read the Bible, to understand God's messages. Perhaps you've felt drawn to meditation, introspection, to finding meaning in every experience. This awakening is no accident. It's God touching your heart, calling you to return to Him. Many people spend years distracted by the noise of the world, caught up in the immediate, trapped in routine. But when the moment of the call arrives, something changes within you. Your mind starts questioning things you once took for granted. Your spirit longs for more. What's curious is that this awakening is usually gradual. First, you feel curiosity. Then you start noticing signs around you, verses, phrases, conversations, messages that seem to arrive at just the right moment. Everything begins to point in the same direction. God wants you to pay attention. If you've noticed that lately your interest in the spiritual has increased for no clear reason, if you feel a growing need to connect with God, if you've started looking for answers beyond the obvious, then it's possible you are experiencing this third sign. But here's what's most important. Don't ignore this call. Don't brush it off as just a phase. This is a key moment in your journey. God is awakening a higher awareness in you, and He's doing it because your life has a purpose beyond what you can see right now. Help us spread this message. Subscribe, like, and tell us what spiritual signs you've experienced. Now pay attention, because the next sign may be the confirmation you need to know that God is already working in your life. Fourth sign, separation from what no longer serves you. Something strange happens when God begins to work in your life. People, places, and situations that used to be part of your daily life start to drift away. Maybe you've lost friendships, relationships that once seemed solid have fallen apart, or suddenly you no longer fit in certain environments. At first, this may have caused you pain or confusion. You've asked yourself, why are these changes happening? Am I doing something wrong? But the truth is, it's not a mistake. It's divine cleansing. When God calls you for a greater purpose, He often needs to separate you from what doesn't contribute to your spiritual growth. Places that don't add value, environments that take you off your path, habits that no longer fit the new version of yourself. This separation is necessary even if it hurts, even if you don't understand it at first. Over time, you'll see that God was simply removing what was holding you back. When God wants to take you to another level, He can't allow you to cling to what's slowing you down. Think of it this way. If you're climbing a mountain, you can't carry unnecessary weight. You must let go of what you don't need to reach higher. So, if lately you've been experiencing these kinds of changes in your life, if people you were once close to now seem distant, if you feel that God has been steering you away from certain paths, don't resist. He is clearing your way. He is preparing you for what's coming. And this is where everything starts to transform. Because when this cleansing happens, it means your purpose is getting closer to manifesting. The next sign will show you how this change leads to an inner transformation you can no longer ignore. Fifth sign, a sense of urgency to change. There comes a moment in life when something inside you clicks. You feel that time is running, that there's something you must do, that you can't keep living the way you have been. It's as if an inner voice is pushing you to move, to change, to transform your life. It's not just a passing thought. It's a fire burning inside you, something you can't ignore or extinguish. Because with each passing day, the feeling grows stronger. This urgency is not a product of anxiety or fear. It's God awakening you. It's His way of making you understand that the time to act has come, that a purpose is waiting for you, and you can no longer postpone it. Maybe you've noticed that what you once tolerated now weighs you down. What once seemed normal to you now makes you uncomfortable. You feel like you need to make radical changes in your life, to make important decisions, to leave behind the old in order to open yourself to the new. This feeling is not random. It's a sign that God is moving things within you. When He calls someone, He doesn't do it with a thunderous voice from the sky. He does it with a restlessness in the heart, with a need that becomes undeniable. If lately you've felt like something in your life must change, if with each passing day the sense of urgency grows inside you, it's because God is preparing you. And here's the thing, don't ignore this calling. Don't think it's just a passing feeling. This is the moment you must listen, reflect, and act. Because when God places a fire within you, it's not for you to put it out. It's to light the path of your purpose. Now pay attention, because the next sign is even more impactful. Visions, dreams, repeated signs. God doesn't only speak through prayer or the Bible. He also communicates through signs. If you've recently had dreams with clear messages, if you've repeatedly seen the same number, the same word, or felt that certain events seem to be aligning in your favor, then it's possible that God is trying to tell you something. Divine signs are not always obvious. Sometimes they arrive subtly. But if you pay attention, you'll notice they are there. Have you dreamed the same thing several times and felt it has deep meaning? Do you frequently see repeated numbers like 111, 333, or 777 and wonder what they mean? Do you hear phrases or messages in songs, conversations, or readings that seem directed only at you? Do you feel like certain events in your life are aligning in inexplicable ways? None of this is coincidence. When God wants to get your attention, He uses signs that only you can understand. Many biblical figures received messages through dreams. Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dreams, and that changed his destiny. Daniel received visions that revealed the future. God still speaks in the same way today. You just need to open your eyes and listen with your heart. If you've recently experienced this type of sign, don't ignore it. God is trying to communicate with you. Now what comes next is even deeper, because when you start to receive signs, your spirit transforms. And that leads us to the next revelation: heightened spiritual sensitivity. When God begins to work in your life, something inside you changes. Your perception of the world sharpens, your intuition strengthens, and you begin to notice things that previously went unnoticed. It's no coincidence. God is tuning your spirit. Suddenly, you can feel energies in places or with people. Before someone speaks, you already know how they feel. Before a situation occurs, something inside you warns you. It's not paranoia or imagination. It's spiritual development. This increased sensitivity isn't always easy to handle. Sometimes you feel emotions that aren't yours. You get tired easily when surrounded by many people, or you're simply uncomfortable in places with heavy energy. But instead of fearing it, you should understand it. It's confirmation that God is awakening your consciousness and preparing you to receive His guidance. In the Bible, the discernment of spirits is often mentioned, a gift that allows one to recognize what is good and what is not. If lately you feel your intuition is stronger, that answers come to you instantly, or that your connection with the divine has intensified, it's because God is activating this gift in you. Now, with this heightened sensitivity comes great responsibility. It's not just for your benefit, but so that you can help others. Because when God chooses you, it's not just so you can see, it's so you can act. And here comes the next sign, one of the clearest that your life has taken a new direction. Others see you differently. Something curious begins to happen when God calls you. People around you start to notice it before you do. Maybe friends or family have said they see something different in you, that something about you has changed. Maybe your presence feels stronger, calmer, more luminous. Some people may even start seeking you out for advice or support, as if they subconsciously knew there's something special about you. This is no coincidence. When God calls you, your energy changes. You no longer react to problems the same way. There is a peace in you that you didn't have before. The things that used to matter to you now seem superficial. You begin to see life from a deeper perspective, more connected to the divine. Some people will feel drawn to you, wanting to know what you've done to change, wanting to hear your opinion and follow your example. But there will also be those who pull away, those who don't understand your transformation and prefer to stay in their world. This is normal. When the light enters a room, not everyone is ready to see it. What matters is that you understand what's happening, God is preparing you to be a guide, a spiritual leader, someone who can inspire and help others. And when that happens, only one final sign remains, the most powerful of all, because there is one message God uses to confirm His calling, and it's the one that will change your life forever. An internal calling that is impossible to ignore. This is the definitive sign, the clearest proof that God has chosen you. It's a feeling that doesn't go away, no matter how much you try to distract yourself or ignore it. Deep down, you know there's something you must do. Maybe you're not yet sure what it is, but you know you are destined for something greater. It's an internal calling, a voice in your heart that constantly whispers. You wake up in the morning with the sense that there's a mission waiting for you. You go to bed at night wondering if you're on the right path. And the most surprising thing is, even if you try to ignore it, God keeps sending you signs, situations that make you reflect, people who appear in your life with key messages, unexpected opportunities that push you toward a new path. This calling is not a coincidence. It's confirmation that you have been chosen for something special. Look, throughout history, Moses tried to escape his destiny, but God called him again. Jonah ran from his mission, but he couldn't avoid what was written for him. Paul persecuted Christians, but ended up being one of God's greatest messengers. No one who has been called by God can ignore it forever. If you have felt this fire inside you, if something within tells you that you must act, that there is a greater purpose for you, then you can no longer keep ignoring it. This is the moment when you must make a decision. Because God calls, but you are the one who chooses to answer. And now, to close, there's something important you need to hear. You made it this far for a reason. Nothing you've heard today is a coincidence. If any of these signs resonated with you, it's time to act. God is calling you. Don't let this moment pass. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Don't look for more excuses to stay the same. If in your heart you know there is something more for you, it's because God has already placed the path. You just need to take the first step. Start seeking more. Pray. Connect with your purpose. Ask God what He wants from you. And if this message touched your heart, help it reach more people. Subscribe, like, and share your experience in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else. See you in the next video. God bless you.